Live. Today's gonna be a special one. We got Lynn does investing, and we got a special guest. Oh, Jen's popping in, but we got Violetta. So usually I try to get people on ahead of time and kind of hear their story. But Violetta and Lynn have done interviews together on Lynn's channel. But maybe Violetta can quickly introduce herself to my audience tuning in today.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you so much for having me on here. I'm Violeta. I'm a first gen real estate investor. On Instagram, I'm under Money Chisme, and really I'm out here trying to teach more Latinas how to get into real estate investing and motivate them and show that it's not that intimidating and we could do it as well.
Awesome, perfect. So I was trying to. I'll just tell Jen instead of messaging her. Can you move your head, your face back a little bit? No, no, no. Just for so when I edit the videos, it comes out
Move your
easier.
head.
No, no, because
I
that
didn't
way.
even think about that. Yeah, I think my head's
No,
not too
yours is per. Yeah, yours will be able to easy to edit. Jen, not trying to make trouble
I
already.
have flashbacks from my mom talking to me. Fix your head. Whoa.
All right,
or
so
when you
so
talk to Gen Z, all you see is this part too.
Wait, is this okay? I can't tell. I see
no,
myself
that's
like
that's
10
great. That would be
times
yeah, that
and
will
I just
fit. That
woke
would be
up.
perfect. Flavio's tuning in, so I'm not sure if Flavio has jumped off of the school call with Cody Davis, the Gen Z call. I hopped on for a little while, so that was fun. They didn't check my ID, so I was able to get in. So just letting everyone know. But yeah, today we'll kind of talk about. Lynn sent me kind of talking about retiring early and downsizing. Is that the way to kind of approach the financial freedom and getting out of the rat race? So, Lynn, was that on top of mind for you?
Yeah, so it's been at top of mind for a long time, but also Violeta just did a move from California to Texas, and she is creating a retired life, which includes like a little farm and a little, chickens and all these things. And she, left a six-figure job, and that was hard
Mhm.
for her. And I think that when we're trying to invest, like that would be the ideal life that we want to achieve. Like we want to end up and living by your own terms, reclaiming your time. And when she was doing it, she's been MIA, but when she was doing it, she was really scared going through the motions. But I guess like we don't
Oh
think
yeah.
about the end when we're investing. Like we're all trying to hustle and grind and get that next deal and accumulate cash flow and all the things that we're supposed to do. But then we don't really stop and think about what does that look like for us, like once we're retired, like what do you want, like super move to Vegas, right? Like that's something that he didn't foresee, to have more space, to have more to have a nicer house and all these things. And I don't know, I think Mark, you're probably the closest to retirement out of this in the school community. And like what does that look like for you? Like have you sat
Are you
down and wrote
teasing
down
my
what is
age?
your
Wait,
day
wait. Are you
going to
teasing
look
my
like?
age or just no? No, but I want to just say good morning to Flavio. Kenny's here, Jen's husband. Chris is tuning in from Virginia, and Stan's here. So I also want to just so Lynn's YouTube channel is posted in the chat. So go please subscribe. Also, Violetta's Instagram page, and Lynn and Violetta's interview on Lynn's channel is also posted in the chat. So if you want to check that out and know more about them, go follow. But so it sounds like Violetta, you made a move to kind of help. Is that downsizing for you, like Lynn was saying?
Yes, yeah. So I ended up realizing that I need way less than what I needed. I was in California and I had like a two-story, 2,400 square foot home. It was like on a half acre and everything like that. And that house was like the dream for me when I was younger. Like, you'd go to these like rich areas and you see these big ass houses and you're like, wow, that's what I want. And then when I had it, like it was too much house. Like I couldn't, like it was such a struggle. Like I barely used most of the space. I usually was in like the living room. Um and I had extra rooms for no reason. So that kind of like opened my eyes a little bit. And then once I started investing in real estate, and you have to look at like, well, how much do I need? Like what's my number, my magic number to be able to get financial freedom? I realized that I needed way less, and that's when I started thinking about like going smaller. And at that time, we had like three cars. One was a beater that we had bought for my husband because he had a truck that wasted gas during that time when it was super high gas. So I ended up selling my car because it was paid off and everything, and I used that for a down payment on some land. Because at that time, I started thinking about like, okay, where am I gonna go? Um, and then I realized I didn't really need a car anymore because I had that one, and then I got rid of that one, and now it's like I still don't have a car because like I don't need it still, and I'm like kind of used to not having a car payment now. But just little things like that throughout the years, I started realizing that I'm happier with less things. And now like we're fine with, my husband's paycheck, like because the land, and instead of building a big house, I went for a manufactured home, smaller manufactured home. And I was able to get the dream life that I was, aiming for faster, now closer, rather than wait until I get like millions of dollars to build this big giant mansion. What I actually want is to be able to like, homestead, grow my own food, chase some chickens around and stuff like that. And so just a slower life, and just realizing what you actually want in life, um, really changed my mindset.
I love that, and I just want to say good morning to the legend, Dion. Dion Talk Financial Freedom here is here. He's going to be one of the keynote speakers at Bigger Pockets. Big Andy is tuning in from Ohio, and Chris does say Texas is fun, and Chris also says 100% we do not have children, and I wonder why I have the extra bedrooms.
Yeah.
So Violetta, it also is interesting because so I'm in Hawaii, cost of living, it's a
Uh-huh.
very expensive place to live. Lynn and Jen are both in California, so also high cost of living, high real estate prices, whatnot. So, and I know Jen, you also know Casey from school, and he's thinking about relocating to Vegas, and he actually just messaged me yesterday and kind of was sending me some questions. But Lynn and Jen, is this something you folks are also thinking about, like downsizing? Is this part of the plan to get out of the rat race?
I'll let Jen go first.
Oh, okay. I haven't thought about downsizing quite yet. My kids are like super still tiny and accumulating a lot of stuff. But I have thought about, I think a couple of years ago, Kenny and I did think about like upgrading to a bigger house because the kids were growing, and then maybe more room for, them and their friends and things like that. But I think after real estate and investing, we've kind of said, okay, we're happy with where we're at. And our home's like 1,300 square feet. So it's a good, decent size. But we thought, other friends, and they're upgrading to 3,000, 2,400. And so this person, and so we realized that, we're good where we're at. And, when I was growing up, I think we had like 8 people in a 1,000 square foot house. And just realizing that we made that happen, it was like I have like 4 older brothers and my grandma, my parents, realizing we made that happen. Kenny and I thought about it like we don't need that much room for 4 people. We're just going to keep what we have and grow our portfolio and kind of give them experiences rather than like more room to accumulate, right? We were cleaning up our house after being here for like 15 years in our home, and we realized how much stuff we had. I have to be careful what I say. Stuff, we'll just call it stuff, that we had accumulated that we don't need, right? And that was an eye-opening experience for us. So now we just talked about it during July 4th when we were trying to purge and clean up for like a barbecue, that we really have to focus on what they need and being minimalist, right? For their sake as well, not just for us to accumulate to buy more real estate and have a better future for them in a retirement, but just in general, we're just at such a consumption society and we don't need to be. So that's what I've realized. Downsides, I don't know, but at least for now, just maintaining what we have and not getting more, I think is really important for us. Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I went from, it was a 4 bedroom house, and then we sold it and went to a 2 bedroom. I did not realize how much stuff was in these empty rooms that I just ended up just putting in there. and which was good because then I had to go from a 2 bedroom to an RV right now while we wait for my house to be built. But yeah, that's all that extra space, like you were saying. You just end up with more stuff in it.
I want to say good morning to Max, who actually he just closed on a property in Oregon. So congratulations. He found a property at work. He's going to house hack. Casey, we just mentioned you, so thanks for tuning in. So, Kate, like I said, Casey is in California and he's looking to relocate to Vegas, and he's just trying to figure out why. Though I guess the wife asked him like, "Why are we moving?" And he's still trying to really come to, I guess, his decision on what's the actual reason. But Lynn, is this something that you're considering, or do you see yourself staying in California? You think for a very long time?
I think the main anchor in California is my family. And then so like it's really hard for me to consider moving to another state. I do want to move to a different state just because I want to experience what it's living without a car in a walkable city. That's a dream of mine. I feel like we don't do exercise. We don't walk around. When you go vacation, you walk 20,000 steps all the time and you feel lighter and you feel healthier. And then you have your 2 meals or 3 meals during the day. And then you just feel like you're productive. And here in California, we're just like stuck in the car and traffic. And I commute for work. So I commute 3 hours every day. So it really like for me, it's like, oh wow, amazing to like just walk down to a cafe and have your coffee with your croissant or something. But also like I grew up with parents that do not qualify for hoarding. They're not hoarders, but they're hoarder adjacent. So like my trauma response was to emotionally overcorrect, and I'm an extreme minimalist. Technically, we have one TV in the whole house, and I do live in a 1,300 square feet house, but I don't like my rooms are empty, and so downsizing for me like does sound doable. Like van life for me would be amazing, but my partner
Mm.
doesn't think the same. So right now he's struggling because we got rid of the garage because we're doing an ADU in the garage, and I really don't miss the garage. I wasn't parking my cars in the garage. The only thing that I had in the garage was the Christmas tree and other Christmas things, and we got a shed and it was fine. But he
Mhm.
really struggled with like losing that space. So I can see how that, you know, it's hurting him.
So Chris from Virginia also says, just an FYI, something I did not consider if people are looking to downsize with children. Many schools offer tuition for employee children. He goes, I know several people who have put 3 kids through school at no cost. And then Stan also says, I collected things from childhood until adulthood. Realized none of it was making me that happy once I turned 30. And I've been selling things off, and he's been focused on experiences. And yes, Stan's on my channel frequently, also on the live streams, and he is a world traveler. He's always traveling. So if you go check him out on Instagram, he's always posting photos of all his adventures and whatnot. I didn't even realize he was married. I didn't realize he was married and had a kid. I always forgot. He's always posting travel photos. But it's funny too because I just returned from Japan, and kind of to Lynn's point, right? You're walking around, everything's in the cafe, the coffee, or whatnot. And yes, I enjoy. It was very humid this time of year, but I definitely enjoyed it. And that's definitely what I want to do is more experiences and travel a lot more. And that's definitely why, like you're talking about, collecting things and stuff that we don't really need, right? Hey, Josh is here, and Frank, old guy REI. So thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I mean, so Violet, how has been the transition again? So where would you say you are as far as your downsizing, like moving to San Antonio now?
I think I'm good. I am just waiting to move into my house. Should be done around September, I think. So we ended up with just getting a 3 bedroom, 2 bath for I think it's 1,700 square feet. And it was kind of like even then I was tempted to go big, even though I was like, um, then I remembered how we were with the one in California where I just ended up with even the garage, like Lynn was saying. I didn't park my car there. I just ended up I had a home gym that just sat there collecting dust. I used it for like the first few months. So I was like, yay, I made my home gym. And then I just collected dust, Amazon boxes, random stuff in there. Um But yeah, so then we decided to get the 1700, and right now we're living in an RV. Um, it's just like a one bedroom. It's like I don't know how you measure RVs. I think it's like 28 foot or something, so it's not that big. Um, I like it. I think the only thing I struggle right now is that like my stepson's visiting us, and he's like 15 years old, so teenage, and and then I have a 15-month old, so it's just like both of them, just a lot of chaos, and we're in Texas in the middle of the summer, so they have to be inside for a little bit during the day. So I think that's just the biggest struggle. And right now I'm not working. I probably don't plan to work because right now with my husband, he works. Oh, and he's at home too because he does remote work. So we're all in there all day, every day. So I think that's the biggest adjustment. And then me having too much time now. So, but at least I could do more of the podcast and actually be more focused instead of it just being on the side now. So, yeah, just adjusting from being military. I don't know if Lynn had mentioned it or I didn't mention it in my intro, but yeah, it was prior military. So going from that to now, I get to do whatever I want and own my own time or whatever. It's like it's been an adjustment for sure.
Jen, like what has been maybe what is it like what so besides this getting ready for a barbecue and whatnot, was there like any other moment that maybe you realize how much maybe stuff, I don't know if your daughter's still around, but how much stuff you have collected and whatnot?
Well, my brother is a minimalist, right? And so going to his house, it's like really clean. There's nothing there. So he was an example, and I was like talking to Kenny, like, why aren't we like that? And I don't know. It's just I just get frustrated. Everywhere I look, I see stuff, and then everywhere we go, my kids want more stuff. And then I just see commercials. I just see like we're just such a consumer society. It's kind of like sickening, right? And I just feel like it's really wasteful. It's just things that are meaningless. I do feel, and I think most importantly, because of my daughters now, I feel like a broken record. They're so important to me. I just want to teach them well, right? And it's not just a moment in time of like them wanting extra toys at Target or whatever. It's, I think, the values I want to instill in them. And growing up, my parents were so frugal. I mean, they're probably hoarders now just because they buy and they don't want to throw it away because the cost of something is so valuable. And it took them, this is my other one, it took them a long time to earn that money to get booth. Okay. So I don't know. I just feel like I don't know why I became like this, right? When my parents were so frugal and they took so much thought into buying something. And then now I'm just trying to reflect and make sure my kids aren't that way. I don't know if there's one moment, but it's just a progression of just seeing it everywhere, seeing my home being messy, seeing that, you know, our hard earned money to buy that thing. And then now we're cleaning up and it'll just take me a second to toss it. Kenny has no problem purging, but I feel like, oh, I spent that money. There's sentimental value possibly, but after a while you just start accumulating. So I don't think it's a moment, but I think it's just a progression and then just a reflection and then thinking about like what we want to instill in the future generation. That's made me kind of realize like let's stop, be happy and grateful with what we have, and then make sure we take the money that we're earning, this hard earned money, and put it in something that has a better ROI than, this guy.
I told it is hard though, especially when you have kids. You want to teach them, but at the same time that you want them to do have fun and get certain things. But that's also why after going to Japan with my son and for this school trip, it just kind of opens your eyes to like the experiences instead of just always collecting things. And Lynn, I don't know if this maybe relates to it too and whatnot of downsizing, but I mean, you've mentioned before, we kind of teased a joke about it, but like Costco, right? Like you don't believe in shopping at Costco, you don't have a Costco membership. Is that kind of where this falls into this downsizing kind of thought process?
I went to a dinner last night with my boyfriends and his parents, and his parent pays for his Costco card and it says member since 1990. And even the server is like, wow, 35 years of loyalty to Costco. And then I mentioned that I brought up like one of these lives that I don't believe in Costco. And he's just like, what? What is going on? Why did you pick her kind of thing? But yeah. Yeah. So I, I it gives me anxiety when I'm there, like to look up things from bottom to the top. It's just like I was mentioning right now. For me, like clutter means stress, and for like stuff almost suffocates me. And like so, seeing like smaller shops or one of a kind, not mass produce, that gives me more of like a peace and liberation. Like it
Mhm.
just it screams less mass produced, like child labor for me. Like all those things just come up, and then so that's why I like try to run away from it. But I also see like how when you have kids, you want to provide for them and give them all the things that you maybe didn't have and more, right? And so I know this the struggle is real, and then I know the convenience to going to Costco or to shopping on Amazon. I know like you sometimes you need it things right away.
Mhm.
But yeah, I also like being mindful of that consumerism. I think is where my message is more so than like
Mhm.
if you're going to Costco for dish soap and the detergent, then don't come back with a $300 bill outside of it. Like, uh,
Yeah, I don't
They
have
make it
one
so easy.
either. I don't have one either, and I'm tempted, but I don't trust myself with the Costco card because I know I will spend too much for no reason.
It's
So I just don't do it.
it's hard, right? Like everything's viral, and it's so easy to just click a button, right? Versus when like my parents were, or like when I was growing up. So I think it's just set up so that people consume and buy more. It's
yeah,
just so
Mhm.
easy now. Yeah, Costco, like you go in there, you buy one thing, but they have it in bulk, so you end up with so much, right? I know people that spend like $500 on a Costco trip on a weekly basis. I'm like, what are you buying for like four, right? But it's just so easy to do it. Like something goes viral, everybody's on. Like those Lubu Labu Labu kids or whatever you call it,
Oh
right? Like
yeah,
what is
yeah.
that, right? Yeah. But I do feel like, yeah, now I'm trying to focus on experiences. Mark doesn't want me to talk about this, but I did buy like Backstreet Boy tickets because I never do anything. Right? Oh,
Where,
you
where?
could.
I'm going
that's
next
an
weekend.
experience. I say that's an
Yeah,
experience.
I think I'm going through like a midlife crisis because I was starting.
I bought the Beyonce. I mean, nosebleeds for that one, but
Mine
yeah, I
is
did the same
nosebleed
thing.
too. Yeah, mine is
Yeah.
nosebleed too. And Kenny refuses to go with me even if I pay him. So I'm so glad I have a daughter that's old enough now. She's 7 and she has no idea what Backstreet Boys is, but I'm taking her.
Oh,
You put who are you messaging? I forget. You put BSB somewhere, right? And
Oh,
someone
he
said,
is in the.
Dylan was like, who
Yeah,
"Oh
who
yeah."
in that?
I
oh wow,
know.
y'all
Gen
didn't
Z.
know.
It
I've
was
always
pretty
wanted to
sad, but that's
go.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
didn't
th-
get to go see them when in my teenage years, so now I get to go see them.
I've seen them twice already. Actually,
Oh, really?
I saw them when I was pregnant with my
Oh,
older one, and I went
yeah.
with a girlfriend, and I was screaming so loud she thought I was going to go into labor because I think I was like 7 months.
how old are they now? How old are
Okay, it
they?
doesn't matter. They're probably the same age as me.
They're
It's
still,
not.
you know what?
Yeah,
They're gonna be young in my eyes
there
forever.
you go.
You know?
Sorry, audience. I had no control over this. I told Jen not to bring it up, but hold on. Um, Stan said, Stan said, moving to a walkable city for me was a very positive change. I love being able to walk to stores, restaurants, etc. Like I said, see, next trip in 2 weeks, heading to Kenya and Tanzania to see the Great Migration. Or Tanzania, yeah. Let's see, Chris. My idea of a walkable city is walking from the house to the beach to the ice cream shop. Like I said, so Casey, I know Jen has talked to him about it quite a bit, and she's trying to maybe change his mind or whatnot. But he says, I will ask my wife to rewatch this clip later. I hope she can pick up some idea from you folks. So I know Jenna spoke with Casey about this. I don't know if Lynn, I think you met Casey before. I'm not sure, but what would you tell someone that's considering trying to get out of California? I guess like, what I mean, what would be? Would you have any thoughts to give them or whatnot?
go, but if you own real estate, don't let it go.
Mm,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I want to
yeah.
say, I want to say, I half kid with him, right? Like Frank once is leaving, and Casey is talking about leaving. You know, I joke with them and try to give them a hard time because hearing people leaving California, it's kind of sad, right? If you've been here for so long and you're still here. But I'm just joking. I mean, I understand like if there's a reason for it, cost of living, if it makes sense for him and like his vision and his retirement and his family and his kids, right? Then yeah, I mean, I definitely like would support that. I just give him a hard time because it's sad that everyone's leaving. But I did tell Casey like, make sure you're leaving for the right reason and make sure you have
Yeah.
a way back, right? Like, because he still has like young kids. So like if you go there and for whatever reason it's not good for your wife or your kids, like yeah, like Lindsay said, don't sell your property. Like know that you have a way back here. Otherwise it'll be like super hard, right? So I just told him make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. I give him a hard time, but you know, it is sad, but I totally get it. For me, my family's here, you know, and Kenny and I like, you know, work here. We don't work remote, right? We're on site. The kids have built like a small community here. It's a little bit harder, right? If we didn't have them or if we're old, you know, sorry, older. We're older, ready? But when we were older,
We're not old.
yeah, would we downsize and go somewhere like a little bit more remote, not in the bigger city? Yeah. But right now we're not at that point. We just can't. Yeah, so it doesn't make sense for us.
Yeah, I couldn't convince my parents to move to California, so I had to go back to Texas. But I would have stayed because, but I needed someone to help me. I couldn't do the baby thing by myself, me and my husband.
Let's see. We got hey Kyle, blue collar landlord is tuning in. Haven't seen you in a while. I know you're busy. I see you posting a lot of stuff on Instagram. So what's up, man? He said, what did I just tune into? I think he heard the Backstreet Boys little section. Rick Freeman tuning in. So morning. Before I get to Dion's question, I skipped over Chris. Chris said, I do have a question. My wife is an avid reader. When I went back to school, we downsized from 1,300 to 650 square footage, and it just took one move to get rid of about 6 boxes of books. What are your thoughts on books?
I have one that I just like. Well, I'm like halfway through reading it. It's called The One Thing. And it I guess it doesn't do too much for like decluttering stuff, but I guess it could fall under that because you start changing your mindset and your day with thinking of like what's the one thing I can do today that will get me closer to my goals. Because you like for me that now it's my to-do list got smaller, but before I always had like a big giant to-do list and that would overwhelm me and stuff like that. But now going through the list and actually going there and it's like, all right, what can I do today that's actually going to put me, like me deciding to do some random house, project, like painting or something might not put me closer to my goal yet, but me going, I don't know, going to a workshop or something will, you know. Just changing the mindset. I really enjoyed that book. So I think that would be my um, recommendation right now.
Well, on that point, Dion is writing a book. So I know I'm not sure when that's coming out, but it should be shortly. I think it's going to go to editing or whatnot. So be on the lookout for that. Lynn, Jen, I mean, what books could you recommend? And even like I think Chris was maybe referring to more of it like throwing away books. Like, what's your thoughts on like getting rid of books as far as clutter?
Why throwing? Why not donating? Give it to the
There
people
you
in
go.
your
Yeah,
life
yeah,
that,
yeah. Definitely
they
donate
might
it.
enjoy that book. I love reading. My partner's also an avid reader, and he likes the physical books. I would say like Kindle. I read on my phone. I read on my Kindle, so it doesn't feel like it's clutter. But he does like the physical book. But even then, he gets used books from like eBay. He doesn't buy like the new book with the hardcover or anything like that. So it's like $3 or $4 for a book. Then why not? And then when he's done with it, he passes on to his family. I'm like, you don't really need 6 boxes of books sitting around.
Did you have any thoughts on that, Jen, or I'm gonna go to Dion's question?
Yeah, I don't read a lot, so we do a lot of the audiobooks.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like some of the real estate ones we've got recently, it's, very not that many. So I think those are worth keeping. But like the kids are getting books and they would get books as gifts. So we're donating to the library. And then we're trying, so it's a work in process. Like we're definitely not perfect, right? So like we're trying to bring them to the library more, right? To borrow books and understand that like it's not permanent and return it. So we've done that a couple of times. So yeah, I mean, to like, I would say audiobooks, and then like if you actually need to buy something for physical, like yeah, donate it back to the library or sell it or something like that. I would say that would help with the cluttering, and then just keep a couple, right? Because I get things are like special and mean a lot, and you want to keep it. Yeah.
You should buy Dion's book, though. I mean, there's a difference there. So make sure you pick up Dion's book
Yes.
when it comes out.
Yes,
though.
we will do that.
But Dion does have a question. He says, "How has your circle of friends changed since you started focusing on money?" Lynn, can you go first then?
It disappeared. Yeah, I've never had a big group of friends whatsoever. I always kept it like small. But I guess it just fell off because we're interested in different things. And it just felt like I wasn't going anywhere. We didn't have the same line of problems. There was no room for like hearing each other almost. And like you guys are my friends now, so this is it.
I like that. Violetta, what about you? What does your circle of friends change or anything happen there?
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, like I most of my time is spent on like learning or networking or trying to like find people that like have the same like similar goals, like right now real estate investing and stuff like that. So at work, well, when I was at work, like in the military, they're just talking about military stuff and everything. So it's like it's hard to like relate. And I'm also same with Lynn. Like I'm very like I've always been like a small group throughout my life. Had like maybe two to maybe three at most, like people that I consistently would hang out with. Because I'm an introvert, so like I get overwhelmed with too many people. So it's always been that way. But yeah, I think I probably have maybe two, maybe three people throughout my lifetime that I still like talk to, and it's more of like, um, it's a long term friendship. So like not gonna give up. They still have their value. Yeah, we may not talk about like real estate and stuff and some goals, but you also need the other types of friends too. Like to be able to vent about family stuff or whatever, or just to go out to a Backstreet Boys concert.
Stop doing that.
I
No.
had to. I had to.
My girlfriends won't even go to that with me.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have a really small, I'm an introvert too. Hi. But I also have a really small, like 3 girlfriends, and they're not into real estate. Like I tried a little bit, and then you kind of like sense that they're not interested for whatever reason. They're not ready or they can't or whatever. So yeah, but they are there for other reasons. And then now I have you guys for like real estate, and then like a mommy group of kind of friends. So Anna Zuber always says what like reevaluate and like dump your friends, something like that. And then he had a podcast with Anna Kelly where they talked about it. And Anna Kelly's like, no, like I disagree. She said like especially women, but let's just say there's a group of friends that you need for like other reasons other than like real estate, and keep those. So when she said that, I was like, exactly, like the moment, like I don't need to drop my girlfriends even though they're not into real estate, because they provide like other value or they fill like another bucket for me. So I forgot the question already, but yes, you guys are my real estate friends, and my current girlfriends or whatever guy friends, and even for Kenny for that matter, are not like doing what we're doing. Actually, a lot of people don't even know we're investing. Like our family doesn't even know what we're doing, which is crazy, and probably like another whole podcast for that. So yeah, we just have different group of friends, and some of them are not even related to the things that we're doing with our lives. Oh, but like now we made new friends. Like we hung out with Casey a couple of times, and like the meetup with Frank. So yeah, it does feel different, and it's super cool that we're able to call like these people that we met at a ORAT event, right? Like our friends now. But I think I lost a couple just because I told them about the tickets that I bought from Backstreet Boys. So yeah, that's a developing story there.
How about you, Mark? How's your circle now of
Yeah.
friendships?
I mean, I talk about it quite a bit. I mean, I think, being in the firehouse, it's a little bit different. I think that's why I'm trying to get away also, or retire early, is just, the mindset in there is I mean, I love it. I've always grown up, playing sports, and that camaraderie and teamwork and whatnot. So it's that brotherhood. It's just the mindset there is, everyone is just working for the pension. They're just trying to work extra overtime, which is good. But I mean, they work overtime to buy the new truck or whatnot, right? They're not working overtime to like invest or anything. So that's the hardest part for me. Is I do love the camaraderie. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to, when I'm trying to focus on something. It's like, hey, 8 o'clock kitchen, we're watching a movie, or okay, 7 o'clock is basketball, and at 8 o'clock we're gonna watch a movie, and then 9 o'clock is we're gonna play a board game or something, right? So it's like your time is filled spending with these other individuals, and it's like I'm trying to do other things, right? So I always talk about it too, is that I can see how like a newer person in the firehouse, they're gonna struggle if they're trying to do something else, because it's kind of expected of them to spend this time with everyone. I'm kind of at the point in my career where it's like they kind of just leave me alone. Like, I mean, yeah, they make comments, but I'm doing my own things, and they don't really bother me. And so that for me, that's kind of why I'm trying to, maybe I might probably retire sooner than I should in a sense, but part of it is kind of for proof of concept for others, so that they can see that it's possible. But also I think it's just better for me, because I think it's hard to be in the profession that I'm in when I'm not, I guess you could say, 100% in it, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why I'll probably step away maybe sooner than I should, in a sense. Even financially to some extent. Maybe I'm not at the point where I want it to be, but it's enough to
Mm-hmm.
where I'll be fine.
Yeah.
But let's see. Jim is tuning in, so I think maybe the Gen Z call has ended. So Jim is here. So Jim snuck in, and he got to speak first because he was the oldest. So we went by age. So Jen was
Ah.
able to introduce himself first. Casey, I think, responding to what Lynn was talking about selling if you owned in California, he says Chinese don't sell. So I guess he's figuring out some way to maybe hold on to that property, even if he relocates to Vegas. Bill is here, harsh reality to fire. Yes, Alex is tuning in. I think he jumped in from Lynn's channel, but now he's paired from my channel and commenting. But Chris said, all of these California exit talk. One of our goals in retirement is to spend a year in LA as work as extras.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Flavio making trouble again because he knows I invest in Pittsburgh. So Flavio's always saying that you need a bulletproof vest to go invest in Pittsburgh. Let's see. Chris says, yes, getting rid of books. She did significantly change her process. She now uses the library, which saves the space and the fee. We'll be buying
Mhm.
Dion's book. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Dion. Dion says, I donated hundreds of books and have all Audible, Kindle too, but rarely able to sit and read. So much easier to travel. Moving to the next house hack is 1,000 pounds easier. Yes.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Okay, before we get to more questions, what
Yeah,
about?
we're talking about in the ladies of ORAT. You guys can use the public library app, Livy, for audiobooks that are
Oh,
free.
yeah.
Check out Livy.
Yeah.
Not
I loved
expensive.
Audible because I used to do a commute as well. It was like an hour or something, some change. But now that I'm here, I think I'm leaning more going back towards like actual physical reading.
Let's see. Was there something scary maybe that you gave up, that you missed? Like, was there a hard part there? Maybe Violetta, you can start with that.
Um, I guess let's see, as far as scary that I gave up, I guess the car was a little bit intimidating for sure. Um, but then like I realized like yeah I didn't need it because again my husband works remote, so like we just had an extra car sitting there as well. After I sold my car, then we got rid of the other one because it finally died. It was like a 2010 really beat up Honda Civic, and it finally died on me. So that was kind of like a forced giving up something. But then I just ended up driving my husband's truck, so that was nice. And I think that's one of the main ones right now that I could think of. Maybe I'll come back. I'll think of something else.
Lynn, what about you?
Did I give up or giving up feels scary?
Yeah, like maybe just something that yeah you gave up already that was hard at first when you're thinking about it, and then you kind of how'd you push through it to actually kind of get rid of it in a sense. For me, it was like just driving my truck until I still have my truck. I paid off '05 Tacoma, right? And it's kind of like, do I need a new car or a newer car, newer vehicle, right? And it's just kind of, I'll just keep. And now it's like comfortable. Just have a paid off truck. It's okay. I don't care. Like, I'll park anywhere. I don't care if it's someone bangs my truck or opens your door, right? So for me, that was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning.
Yeah, I think it was for me extra income. So I used to be a travel nurse and I used to travel for work, contract jobs. And when the pandemic happened, if you guys recall, I got depressed and it was really bad for my mental health to continue nursing. And then so I made the switch from I went back to school and got my NP. And even though as a travel nurse I make significantly more money than as an NP, I for my mental health, my peace of mind, I did the transition of leaving hospital work 12 hours a day, 60 hours a week kind of thing into outpatient setting, more of like a nine to five. And that came with a income cut. And then that was, reflected on my spending, reflecting on the things that I did. And now it's been 2 years and that's, even though my income has decreased, I am a much happier person.
What about you, Jen? Anything scary that was hard for you to give up?
No, I don't think I'm there yet. I think I'm at a spot of just less accumulation and not buying. So I don't think I've given anything up yet to have that quite yet. I'm thinking, I think I'm still in the like don't accumulate stage. Yeah, but Kenny and I have talked about like our cars are kind of old, like 10 plus years. So if it breaks down, I asked him like what would he buy, and he said like a I mean, he's an Accord now, but he wants to go back to like a Nissan Sentra, which is what he drove in college, and he said he'll buy it used. So I mean, I think that would be a transition for me, but hopefully our cars stick around. People are buying grand like Teslas, right? Bigger cars, and he's like, I'm gonna go back to what I had in college, this little tinier car. So we're not there yet. I would say I thought about it as you went around, and for me, it's just don't accumulate. Really think about it before I take that credit card out, unless it's a necessity. I haven't really felt that sacrifice or that pain yet of that.
Yeah, even for me, I think the scariest one is coming up when I do probably step away early from the firehouse. Not getting my full pension and full medical, and I won't collect till I'm 55 based on my retirement. I mean, it changes depending on when you got in, but that's going to be probably the scariest part for me because it's more everyone else is going to be like, oh, what? You're not going to work, your 25 years of service to get the 100% pension or your 100% medical. So I think that's coming for me, but it's just being around this community and whatnot that's going to just reinforce what I'm doing and make it a lot easier transition.
Yeah, as someone that did the same thing, I didn't do my full 20. I got out at 14 and a half years. So it was just shy of 20. So I'll do the same because I'll still do like reserves so that way I could end up getting my pension, but I'm gonna get it at the same like around 55, 60, depending how much active duty I accumulate. And that was scary, and people thought I was crazy. I was like, you only got a few more years to go, but like I just couldn't handle it no more. Like, I was miserable. How you mentioned earlier, where like your mind is somewhere else. Like people just left me alone because like they could tell like I wasn't, my heart wasn't in it anymore, and it was time to go. And it was scary that stable paycheck. Um, and I definitely went through some stuff. Like it was like, ooh, did I make the right decision? Blah blah blah. But so far, it's working out. Our bills that we're gonna have are gonna be paid, and so yeah, it's gonna be scary. But I think you should trust yourself that you made all the things that you needed to do to get you there.
I can just move into Lynn's ADU if not, if I need.
There you go.
But you could.
Let's see. Old guy REI, thanks for the super chat. But he says, I don't think some kids will learn what we're hoping to teach them about stuff until they grow through a little bit of struggle themselves. Okay. So even Frank is in California, and it sounds like he has visions of moving to closer to Dion or up Pacific Northwest, and a lot of people in that area. So part of their plan is possibly selling their property in California, their primary residence, to help them almost like buy something in cash, get rid of that payment wherever they relocate. So there is a lot of options, but if you're not in communities like this, you're not kind of thinking outside the box, right? A lot of people are just thinking about staying in their home for 30, 40 years and staying in one place, right? Let's see. Stan says, I still keep mixing up Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. So I don't know. Do you guys want to? How do you differentiate that? How would you explain it, Jen? What's the difference? Or how would
Backstreet Boys is better. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, growing up, I just remember people saying that, and I just said Backstreet Boys can sing and dance, and NSYNC can only dance. I hope I don't get a lot of hate for that, but I mean, I've grown up with that. I mean, it brings me back to my high school days. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Now everybody knows how old I am. But yeah, it's just good memories. That's all. And I don't feel like I've done anything for myself, so I just felt like that would be a good, yeah. And I think I'm going through a midlife crisis right now, but we can talk about that all day long. But I don't want to overtake this podcast, so I won't.
Oh.
I'll just stop right there.
He's gonna ban us from coming back because we keep talking about Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, Mark like texted me, please don't, like he explicitly said.
I do.
And I'm like, Mark, you must not know me. If you explicitly tell me not to do something, that's just permission to like go right there.
Let's see. Bill from Harsh Reality to Fire says, I have a few books I'm keeping to give to someone I find that wants to learn about real estate. Still not found anyone who wants to learn in my world. Yeah, I think that's very common, right? A lot of people are just, just busy working, paycheck to paycheck a lot of times, right? Let's see. Hey, Val's here. Val's doing some cool stuff in North Carolina. I think he just got his tenant out, evicted, so he's trying to get that property back on its feet, get a new tenant in there. So this is one question. Maybe Lynn, who runs, I don't know if you know the Ladies of ORAC call, but Jen runs it. Okay, so Flavio wants to know, can boys join the Ladies of ORAC call?
Yes, but depends which boy. No, I'm kidding. No, I think anyone can join. I think it started off as just like a safe group for women to come like share their stories inside real estate and outside, right? But all is welcome. Yeah, for sure.
Nah, I don't know. You guys, like you said, I think it's a good, safe place.
Yeah.
There's so many other calls for us, right? Like there's so many other accountability calls that's going on in the week.
Yeah. I was in another group where they also had the same thing, and it worked out really well. Like women came and shared just like their vulnerable spot for that week, and it was just a nice, safe place that you could share stories and have it be relatable to other women, whether it be in real estate or just struggles of like daily life, right? So that was kind of I saw that and the value of that. So then when Zuber talked about it, I jumped on board because I thought it was like a really good place, right? But yeah, I mean, even in that other call, like guys would join every now and then. But yeah. So
Well, you
yes,
can
all
keep your
around.
Backstreet Boys in sync talk in the Ladies of ORAC call. Then that's where
I haven't even done that because I just got
I
tickets
know we haven't
this
even
week.
brought it
So
up there.
yeah, it's just because I just bought tickets this week. So
So let's maybe going back to the downsizing and whatnot. Do you think part of it is like a society teaches it what like living your best life, like accumulating things? Like, do you guys have any thoughts on that? Maybe Lynn.
Yeah, society wants us to keep buying things, put it on the
Mhm.
credit card, buy now, pay later. What is that like? 6 months payments if you're $60, $10. Like it seems like doable. $10 here and there. Like it's not gonna hurt me. But it's just like the habit, right? They get you into they're playing the psychological trick of like, oh, you don't have to think about it now. You just have to do it. And then it's easy and it's convenient. So why not? So I think it's just playing of our weaknesses.
yeah,
Mhm.
I would agree. I mean, back in the day when I was growing up, it was what commercials during the daytime and infomercials, right? And so many people were suckers for infomercials. Kenny would admit that he's one of them. But now it's insane, right? It's like in your face. You click on something just because out of curiosity, and it, I don't know, Zuckerberg just like blasts it constantly, right? To the point that even if you're looking at something so not related, even if it's real estate, it'll show up to the side of your of
Mhm.
your page. And then you just click and then it takes you to an Amazon link, right? It's just so easy that it's like so in your face that I understand why it's so hard for people not to do it, right? And then you have like everything's viral now. So if it's in and your friends have it and your kids are coming to you, right? You don't want to be that parent. It's just like so easy and in your face that I think it's hard to avoid. So I think it's just a lot harder than when I was growing up, for example. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in your face, and I think it kind of like grew with the social media like growing as well, because now everybody's like judging if you end up taking a picture in your house and judging and stuff, so that kind of like promotes that as well, that like, oh, I gotta get this nice house, I gotta get this nice car, the most recent car or whatever, because if I post a picture on social media, then everybody's gonna like blast you or make fun of you or whatever. But I feel like they're starting to. I think we're coming back around. I don't know if it's just me, because it could be just me that I'm like looking for it too, like on YouTube and social media for like homesteading and stuff. So like, I think there's a growing trend too of like more people like realizing like, you know what, I don't need all that stuff. So now they're like downsizing and stuff. But it could be just me because I'm looking for it too. So
All right, I gotta address this real quick. Charles is tuning in, and he is because I gave him shit for tuning into the Gen Z call. So, Charles is saying that he needs to see my ID, and he's making fun of my bright shirt that I have on. He said he's gonna need sunglasses. But I want to say thanks to the McCune family because they sent me because I have Bucky. I wear Bucky. Oh, that probably knows because Bucky's is in Texas quite
yeah,
a bit. So.
Bucky's.
Yeah, I went to Bucky's in South Carolina for the first time, and I spent like $300.
Yeah,
So,
Bucky will get you. Yep.
but so they sent me
Consumerism.
from. Well, I needed a coffee mug and a hat, right? So, but anyways, so they sent me some other mugs from. There's Wally's, which is more like a Midwest, kind of like their version of Bucky's, and they sent me this from
Mm.
a Casey's one. So thanks. Um, I buy grandma houses.
I was gonna say my daughter had a like a specialty day at summer camp. It was like retro day, so you can come and dress in any generation. I put her in like this bright like green, Madonna kind of vibe. And I was telling her, I was like, Kira, tell your friends this is what your mommy dressed like when she was growing up. And she's like, you mean like in the olden days? I was like, I couldn't. Yeah, but it was exactly the same color that Mark's wearing.
Oh,
Neon green. Yeah. So it's the olden days. That's what my daughter called it. Yeah. Aloha. Is that
I
what it
think you're
says? Aloha?
muted.
you're muted.
Sorry. So this is my friend's clothing brand. So you guys probably see me wearing it quite a
Oh.
bit. So it's upside down, it looks like, right? So
Yeah.
the reason for that is so when you look down at it, it reads the right way. So it's across your heart. So as you're looking at it, it
Mm,
says Aloha the proper way, but
Got it.
yeah, that's his clothing brand. Um,
nice.
yeah, let's. So Charles is just clarifying that was Carrie making his wife making fun of my shirt. But I did put, like I said, I did put Lynn's YouTube channel in the chat, so please go subscribe and follow, and Violetta's Instagram page if you want to know more about her. Jen hasn't started her social media side yet, but we'll soon get her on that. Um,
Jen
maybe
is a
let's.
mom of two, okay? She doesn't need any more jobs.
Yeah, I'm a kid.
It's hard. I mean, I think about like I really want to just to document the journey, but it's hard. It's
Mhm.
hard to find time. And then like this whole privacy thing. Do I bring my kids in it? Do I not bring them in? And then what about one day if their friends see it? My daughter is like 7, right? At the age where they're gonna start to, so like
Mhm.
is my mom gonna say something embarrassing? All this stuff that's, in my mind. So I just or just laziness. I can't find I can't decide which one it is.
I
No,
don't know
I
how
have
you do it.
one at 15 months, and I'm struggling, and that's it. She's gonna be the only one I decided. Nope, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie says that was me. I switched accounts. I had a student who actually believed that we didn't have color because all the old TV shows were in black and white. Okay, let's set maybe. Do you think most people chase success or freedom? And are those the same thing? So maybe we can kind of maybe the last question for the day. Lynn, you want to start?
Mm,
Yeah, I think everybody is trying to chase some kind of success. I don't think freedom is a main concept that people are like thinking about actively. Because if it was, then a lot of people would like try to accelerate the process. But no. But Coach Carson said something really important yesterday in his call. He said, how do you measure success?
mhm.
And for everybody it should be a different answer, right? Because everybody has the different experience, everybody have different challenges, and that's like what I'm trying to ask myself now, like what do I think success is it freedom? Because it sounds like
Yeah, yeah, I agree. It gets definitely pushed down. Like me in our community, especially like the immigrant community. Like if you're first gen, like me, success is drilled into you. But like Lynn says, like what does that mean? Like for us, it's just like, okay, just go to school, get your degree, and get a good paying job. That's what success is. And then I think, at least for me, as I got older, then I started really realizing, like, is that really success? Like me, like going, you know, spending most of my time at this job and barely seeing my kid, or having time for my hobbies or whatever, and having to work even more, trying to chase a promotion because now I want this bougie house or this bougie car to be successful. So that mindset's changed for me, and that's why I'm going down the path that I'm going to. So yeah, I think it gets pushed a lot, but the wrong version gets pushed, onto us.
I
Jen,
would
what about?
agree. I would agree. It's success, right? I think that's what everyone's taught. I don't think even people understand freedom, right? I mean, and there's so many people that don't have this financial literacy and seeing what freedom can give, right? Yeah, like
Mhm.
everyone on this panel saying it's get a job, go to school, get a job, get a family, climb the corporate ladder. That's what success is. So yeah, I would definitely agree with people are chasing success. And I think it's because they don't understand the freedom a part of it. And that's true success, right? I mean, you
Mhm.
feel even growing up, if I see somebody that's like, let's say not working, I think my parents would be like, what's wrong with this person? They're lazy. Not that
Mhm.
like, hey, how did they get there to be able
Mhm.
to not work every day, right? So I think that is ingrained in all of us growing up in society and school. And so for me, people are definitely chasing success because I don't think they understand what freedom can bring you, and I don't think they understand how like they got there, right? If anything, they think
Mhm.
negatively or something's wrong in that situation when somebody has quote unquote freedom. Yeah.
I just want to ask Lynn because I'm not 100% sure though. But Lynn, you don't have any kids, right?
No kids.
So did you see the episode Zuber just had on recently with a guest that he had on a couple years ago, Sean, and I forgot the wife's name, where they basically took 2 years off and they traveled and they just
Oh
kind of
yeah, I
Mm.
saw that.
disappeared. Yeah,
Mhm.
is that something even you would consider? You think? I mean, like,
Yeah, yeah, that would be so nice. I play with the idea of living like 6 months in Mexico, 6 months in California, 6 months in Italy, because I'm like, I do want to learn. I love traveling. I do want to learn a different language,
Mhm.
and I want to do that. I don't think 2 years straight like they did.
Mhm.
That feels like it's hard to have any kind of normalcy because we're still routine people. Like we still like I go to sleep at 8 p.m. I wake up at 4 a.m. Like I still like that part of my life. So I think traveling constantly wouldn't reach that. Like it would make me feel like homesick. But I think experiencing other cultures and I would love to do that. Yeah.
Mm.
all right. Carrie does say, I applaud you, ladies. Success isn't measured by our bank accounts. Success for me is measured in accomplishments of goals, and everyone has different goals, so everyone's success will look different. Hey, what about me? Why only applaud you, ladies? Hey, but Flavio also says, I enjoy the lives. Thanks for the content. So yeah,
I think
Flavio is
Mark
a
is
great
gonna
supporter.
surprise us with like, oh, I retire, guys. Like one of these days, he's just gonna show up. I quit the firehouse. Remember that?
My plan is by the end of next year. That's my plan, or
Mm.
somewhere, yeah, in that time frame. Um, but we'll see. Most likely, and
How are you
that's the
gonna
plan.
break the news to your son? Like that is not gonna work anymore.
Oh, he's all down for it, bro. Well, so that was going to be kind of my next thing, getting back from Japan. He went. It was a school thing, it's like a neighbor school thing. It went to Osaka and Fukuoka, but he went to two different schools in Fukuoka. But I saw him. I mean, we were only there for almost 2 weeks. I mean, we were there about 2 weeks, but I felt like he grew up in 2 weeks, just being responsible. Like even just like trying to speak to people, or even use Google Translate, try to communicate with
Mhm.
people and order food, or even taking the yen out to try to buy his snacks or whatnot, and even getting the ticket for the rail and whatnot. So I feel like, I mean, I know school is important to an extent, but I felt like just traveling, he learned so much, and just seeing another country, and I felt like he just grew up in 2 weeks, and I think that's what I want to have more experiences with him, and me being able to even, and like, and Zuber talks, but I know Jen's trying to figure it out too. Like, how do I relate the real estate side, or the financial freedom side to that hard work, what you're doing, and to now being able to enjoy certain things and travel, and how do you relate those things? So that's part of it too, is kind of want to, even on the trip I was explaining to him, like, okay, like I'm able to take time off from where I mean, I'm out for workers' comp right now, but for surgery. But I'm able to walk away, and we're still, the properties are earning income and whatnot, but it's paying for our trip, and things like that. So I think it's starting to click for him. But like I said, I think just, yeah, I felt like he just grew up in 2 weeks, and to me it was just
Mm.
super important for me. So yeah, this was a great one. I think a lot of people enjoyed this. And I mean, we don't have to, and I don't know if you guys have things to do, but if there's any riffraff you want to talk about, anything on top of mind you guys want to share. I mean, like, Violet, what I think you had a pod. I looked on your Instagram page. There's a podcast. You have a podcast channel, or
Yeah, the Money Chisme podcast. I'm on break right now because Lynn kind of mentioned it. I've been MIA because moving from California to Texas was more of a, like, took a lot of more of mental and physical workload that I anticipated, and getting used to everything I had to do, like, a lot. So but now I'm pretty much settled in, so I'm coming back. So gonna start posting again on there. So I kind of took like a month off. But yeah.
All right. Well, anything else on top of mind? I mean, I think I might have to break this group up. I don't think I can have all three of you on at one time, but I think a lot of people enjoyed it. It was a good turnout. But yeah, if you guys anything top of mind, you want to share what you're working on, need
I
help with
wanna
anything?
I wanna make a confession that I did buy a Tesla in 2023, but I regret it.
Really?
I
I
did it.
almost did too. I
I
almost
did
bought
it
that
for the
hype.
tax credit. I did to get that
Mm-hmm.
$7,500 back, and I was like, does it go to the government? Does it go to me? So, and then I was thinking like, okay, I'll just drive it for 1 year and I sell it after. But then the Tesla's prices tanked. So I'm like, "Ugh, I'm not gonna lose money when I sell it. So I'm waiting to break even.
Put it on what's the site, Toro or something, and just you know. That's probably what I'll do with the RV. I'm probably gonna post it on like I forgot what site it is, but like let people rent out the RV and
Yeah,
stuff.
I do commute to work 3 hours, so it does save me
Oh yeah, that's
money.
right. Mm-hmm.
So that's the only saving grace, but I don't like the payment. So as soon as I
Mm.
can, I'm working on creating my own practice, so moving away from like working for somebody else to working for myself. So I
Mm.
think in the following year that would come to fruition because I'm growing very slow. And so then that I wouldn't have to like commute anymore if I'm not working in the field. So I would get rid of it. I'm trying to get rid of it by the end of the year. Yeah.
Mm.
Jen, any final words?
No, I mean, right now I'm just trying to spend time with the girls during their summer. And then on the trying to keep my job. And then on the real estate front, just, Kenny and I have been talking and just realizing that we have to focus on paying down some of the debt instead of continuing to like try to buy more. So that's been a journey as well. Because Uber keeps on talking it's a buyer's market. And so
Mhm.
yeah, I was telling Kenny, we kind of went like, bought a lot or as much as we could during like COVID around that time. And
Mhm.
then so it went like that as far as, shopping and, the thrill, right? I think Coach Carson talked about it as well. And then it became like kind of, settled down when we realized like we were running out of money. But then I would tell him that when I brought him a deal, like I would get really excited because he would walk to his computer and start underwriting. I'm like, oh my God, maybe it'll happen. And
Mhm.
then it became, then it became realization of we don't have money. So when he goes to his computer, it doesn't mean anything. It kind of gets deflated. So like, I was telling him now when I see him walk to his computer to like underwrite a deal, I think I realize it's just for practice. It's not for anything else.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think last year was like our 5-year suck of things anything that could go wrong went wrong and money being dumped and truly the suck part. This year is realizing kind of just staying focused and understanding like really slow and steady and focusing on like paying off some of our debt before we go back out again. So I think every year there's just like a big lesson for us. So I think real estate, just understanding that part. And even if it's a buyer's market, if it's not your time, it's not your time. And then just spending time with
Mhm.
the kids. Yeah, I think that's kind of what I've been doing. Sorry, Mark, I'm like ranting. Sorry.
No, I was just trying to bite my tongue because I was gonna say, Violet, if you ever get to meet her husband Kenny, you'll see that Kenny keeps her in check. Like Kenny,
Yeah.
Jen wants to just go off on the rails, and Kenny's like, nope, nope.
But yeah, I always tell people if it were not, I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm trying to give him credit a lot. Maybe I'm exaggerating a lot, but I don't know why you're laughing, but I say without Kenny, I'd probably be bankrupt because I would just buy everything without thinking about it. But he definitely, but then without me, he probably would never buy a property. I would
Mhm. A
maybe
good
I'm putting
balance.
words into his mouth, but I would say, so it's been a good balance, but it's that, me trying to go really fast. And then, I mean, I wonder if other couples relate and then him trying to slow it down, but maybe too much. So I feel like we're at like a good balance, but he definitely keeps me out of trouble. Yeah. But that's why the Zuber and Coach Carson video was just like perfect timing because he put a word to something that I've been feeling for quite a while, right? I think it was the word maintenance. Like he's like, there's growth. And you always hear there's growth, and then there's harvest, right? So it's kind of like, wait,
Mhm.
where am I? I want to grow and I should be growing, but I can't. And I'm definitely not
Mhm.
harvesting because that time isn't there. So what's that phase in between, right? Which is like a big one. And for
Yeah.
people like me that are newbie, you're like, wait, I don't fall in either bucket at this point, right? Where am I, right? Maybe I don't belong. It's bringing me back to my high school days again. And so like, he said maintenance, which is really great. Like master what you're doing now, like know your numbers. Like if anybody asks you for a property, refining, like my Airbnbs are like all over the place in a mess, right? Refining those like SOPs, trying to see if you can elevate the listing, right? Jim's been helping me with that, like stuff like that. So it was just nice to put a word in. The timing was wonderful. So when Kenny heard it, he sent me the link of YouTube. He's like, listen to this. It's a 9-minute thing. You can hear it and add value. So it was just really perfect timing. Anyway, I'm so sorry for my rant. Yeah.
No, I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
maintenance, right? So that's a
That
great
is a
word.
perfect. Is that on YouTube, like that video, or is it like
It's
the?
on YouTube, yeah.
It's on
Oh, okay,
YouTube.
I'm gonna have to look
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah. I feel like
Send
a
me
lot
the
of
link.
times you hear about these
Okay.
people that have made it, right? So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, even Zuber says it, right? And I was like, I wonder what, he thinks. But yeah, it's like growth and then harvest, right? But it's that hard part that a lot of us are in, that there's like no word and no place and you don't belong in either. And you want to buy. I was telling Frank this during our meetup, like at some point where I didn't even want to listen to podcasts because everyone's, in the podcast, right? You're doing well, you're doing something. And I'm at this point where Kenny's not allowing me to do anything. Let's talk to him about that. Right. So then it's kind of like, I don't even want to hear about it anymore because even if I heard about it and it's motivating me, I can't act on it. Right. So it was just really helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie's laughing. She says, "That is Charles. He has to rein in my spending sometimes. Shoes are my weakness."
Yeah. I want to say that Kenny, I hope you're hearing this, but because you wouldn't let me buy a house, I had to buy Backstreet Boy tickets. Okay. So choose your point. Think about it next time. Okay. When you tell me we're not in a position to buy a home, I will find other ways. Yeah. Like I bought tickets for Jimmy O Yang, who's a comedian. I don't even watch him. I don't even know who he is, but I can't tell if it's because he won't let me buy a home or my midlife crisis, but I'm going places this summer.
All right. Well, this was fun. We'll get everyone back on again, I'm sure. Yeah, and everyone, like I said, I put the links to their social media side, and so go please subscribe, follow, and reach out to them if you have any questions. So, everyone, thanks. Have a great weekend, and yeah, I'll be back on Monday with Tyler and Curtis. So, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.